My name is Geoff Krauter, and I've had the pleasure of working alongside many of you. I'm running for the nomination in Guelph this time because I know that we can't campaign as usual in 2015. Unfortunately, we're going to be asked to accept a new normal where the government's only job is to preside over the continued transfer of wealth from the public purse to fewer and fewer private hands. We're going to be asked to forget the gains that we made in 2011 for the sake of preserving a status quo that is failing too many of us catastrophically. And too many people in this community can't afford that, and to be frank, I'm one of them. I was born with right hemiparesis, cerebral palsy, so the right brain. It affects mostly my fine motor control and depth perception. But I was able to attain a BA in political science from Guelph and stand as a candidate here today in no small part because of the Medicare system that has been bequeathed to us by Tommy Douglas and many successive generations of New Democrats. My family was able to provide me with all the resources for the best possible quality of life on a middle class upbringing. And when we're asked to accept austerity over and over, these are the kind of opportunities that are at risk. But I'm also very much aware that for too many of us, those opportunities are already falling further and further out of reach. First Nations, too many new Canadians, and temporary foreign workers. Like more than 1 million Canadians, I'm also reliant on social assistance. I'm a socialist, social activist on social assistance, and I vote. So I'd like to submit that makes me Stephen Harper's worst nightmare. When I chose to come to Guelph, it was partly because I'd heard of the excellent supports for students with disabilities, and I was not disappointed, but I learned further on that it was not just an institutional support, but it was soul deep. And I chose to settle back in Guelph after some time away, like so many people that I meet in the city, because I missed people's courtesy, the readiness of offering a ride home or help moving even. I missed also the willingness to be able to organize and fight for change. And in short, that's what social solidarity is. And that's why I say that Guelph's values are NDP values. And isn't it time that our values were represented in Parliament, not only in the statements of our members or in their private members' bills, but where it counts, which is when they're counting the votes. I joined the NDP in 2002. I'd been inspired by the formation of our party in the 1930s against the backdrop of economic depression and vicious political repression, and there are a lot of parallels to be drawn. Then, as now, the government of the day believed that more government was not the answer, and resource companies and big banks had the ear of government, and for negligible wages, criminal wages, people worked long hours in unsafe and degrading conditions. And now, 80 years on, we have the ability, we've never been closer to the ability to elect a government that will transform our economy, transform our social safety net, and reinvigorate our democracy. And I want to be on the front lines when it happens. Some people, unfortunately, would we just stepped back and let the lesser of two evils win again in Guelph. And once again, I have to say the stakes are much too high for that. They'll tell us, like they did in 2011, they tried to tell us that we didn't have a choice, that we can choose between a unprincipled leader who's obsessed with oil sands development, who's trampled on our civil rights and who's getting us into unfair trade deals, or we can have 4 more years of Stephen Harper. And I'm not going to let our Liberal opponent run away from the Liberal record. In closing, I'd like to say that this would be the greatest honor to represent you, and I can't wait for the coming fight, and I'll be with you every step of the way, but I entreat you to honor me with your support. Thank you very much.